Well, Ryan Miller is the all-time leader in games played and wins in Sabres franchise history, and we're going to say unofficially probably the leader in most jerseys worn in franchise history. Ryan, this is going to be quite an exercise, leading us through all the uniforms that you wore. Were you a jersey guy before you ever became a professional player?
Yeah, we had a lot of jerseys around the house. My cousins being, playing before me in the NHL, and my dad also being active in hockey. I remember my dad gave me at one point the Team Canada Summit Series jersey. He had when he was a kid, like a smaller version, and we kind of passed that along. My son kind of had that too, and so we've always had fun jerseys around.
All right, let's start with this being the obvious choice for a place to start. Not necessarily the name and number, but
everything old is new again. I'm bringing these back, so I think it's great. It was a great era for Buffalo Sabres history, and it was the first jersey I got to, wear. Mm-hmm. So it has that memory for me. Is just, excited to put that jersey on and make the team and play some hockey. And I always thought it was cool. This is kind of what I modeled my mask after. Taking this actual buffalo head and then kind of wrapping it out over the mask was the real image I had. And carried that through every mask I wore.
Had you thought of the Sabres in blue and gold context at all? I mean, when they had already gone to this when you were drafted and when you came in, and then when you essentially made it full time in 05-06, this was the dominant logo.
Yeah, this is the direction they were headed.
Yeah.
So that's really what I kind of had in mind. Didn't see the move coming, but a couple ownership changes will do that.
Yes, that can happen. Now, beyond the start of your career, is there a name, a teammate that you think of when you see this jersey?
Yeah, I mean, all the guys. I mean, we have Maxes here, so Maxi always comes to mind. But it's kind of fun to look back and see the guys in these colors. I've been kind of inundated with nostalgia, people reaching out, talking about things, and then looking back on moments, and you see a lot of the games in these jerseys, just the memory of those playoff runs or some of the the tight games or games where maybe the fans associate good memory with them. So a lot of great moments in these jerseys. So it's been fun.
Do you have that one moment in that era specifically?
I think when Palmer scores against Ottawa to seal the deal, and we beat Ottawa in Ottawa in the playoffs. I think that's kind of like a great memory.
Scary good.
Now, so this, of course, the white version, little Curtis Brown on the back. This one pops more to me, the white.
Yeah.
When you look at them side by side, like if you had to pick one, which one would it be?
I just like the black.
Yeah.
I like just the Darth Vader thing going on.
Nice.
Just
now,
everything black.
Well, what about the alternate at that time, which became known as the butter knives? Did you enjoy this look, which was obviously part of it all in that beginning era for you?
I know, I liked that they went with the bold kind of red choice. Red as a color is cool. I'm from Michigan, Red Wings. I mean, it's all red. Mm-hmm. So I like the elements, having that be the part that stands out. Did
you love the shoulder patch on the original goat? How did you feel about that, the B with the sword through it? Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, I like jerseys, and I like the emblems. I like when teams kind of go for it.
Yeah. So these colors are familiar to you, and then this happens. So quite a different era in Sabres history. There's especially when you consider how successful your team was in 05-06. And then it switches, and yet you immediately win a President's Trophy wearing this jersey.
Again, you kind of have to say, okay, they went for it. And they're trying to bring back some of the old and bring some of the new. So you see where they're going with it. But I have good memories wearing the jerseys, so it's hard to knock it.
What was the reaction in the room, if you can remember, back in the day when it was unveiled?
I think there was a few guys kind of questioning the general motif. But, again, you know what they're going for. They're trying to kind of modernize, but kind of bring it as a throwback. The organization took a step, and I think a step in the right direction. I like where we've ultimately ended up. So you got to take your first step, right? It's not going to always be the best.
Yeah. Last one with the slug, and this is good because I think you'll have a comment on this guy. Tell us about Drew Stafford and your relationship with him.
great hockey player, obviously. Had a great success here, and we had a lot of fun together. Drew loved to laugh, loved to have a good time, but obviously I think everyone knows, great musician. We kind of had some fun with that. I think Robbie from the Goo Goo Dolls had us out a few times to mess around. We played. I think we got on stage with the orchestra, and like just kind of having some fun, doing some other stuff around town. But it was a fun time wearing these jerseys, and I think that he's one of those guys you can think of in that era for sure.
Absolutely. This was a beautiful welcome back to Sabres history. It was an alternate for you at first, and it kind of speaks to what we said earlier, because you were drafted in black and red, played in black and red. What was this like when you saw it? I mean, it's the classic.
Yeah, no, everyone was excited when we saw these kind of come out, and we were just like, okay, this is cool. I'm getting into the history of the Sabres, and we were proud to kind of get that on. And yeah, I thought it was a great nod to the great players before, and it's something that the city, having spent so much time in Buffalo, the pride that they have in Sabres, and the relationship they do have with the players who came before. It was nice to put these on and see how much fun everyone had with it.
Do you think of the brawl game with Ottawa?
I mean, things happen.
Yeah, they do. And some jerseys stayed on and others didn't. As far as this, because it was the first winter classic in NHL history, does that remind you more of the entirety of the experience, or is it game specific?
No, I thought it was just cool to put it on, something unique, different, one time. That was a lot of fun. It was again, we already had taken that step towards, we switched colors. Now we're bringing back some history, and then to kind of take another step and to have this. I thought it was a great uniform for the Winter Classic. Really simple, you can stand out in front of a ton of people who were set back a little bit further. Maybe got lost a little bit in the snow, but it was fun.
Well, this one, honestly, I think if the team wants to continue reflecting on its history and picking a decade moving forward, this 40th anniversary still seems to resonate quite strongly. It came right after you had won the Vezina Trophy. What pops to mind when you look at this again?
Oh, again, just trying to capture some history. I thought it was cool that they tried to kind of pull some stuff from history, not trying to modernize so much, trying to kind of bring it back to the roots. Mm-hmm. And I do remember the old photographs of my grandfather's jersey or some of the stuff my dad might have wore, and it was very much, this is to keep you warm. So it's more of the sweater effect. It is, we're outside, it's cold, we're slapping a puck around, let's knit something.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like that. I like that they brought in some of those older elements.
It is beauty. Most people absolutely love it. I think then the transition full-time, which coincided with this, was, again, blue and gold, a darker one, mind you, but original crest, and kind of, as it turns out, it would be kind of the closing years of your time here in Buffalo, but also the record-setting ones when you passed Dom in wins and games played and things like that to elevate yourself in franchise history.
Yeah, it's still great, fun seasons, and I think just trying to establish something unique with the darker blue. But I thought that was cool. Trying to set their own tone with nod to the heritage, and I enjoyed wearing those colors.
This is, of course, the white version. Did you have a preference as we went forward with? And honestly, I think people would really want to know. Would you prefer white at home?
I don't know. I'm of the era where I grew up, where we did wear whites at home when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you go back, it was dark at home prior. It's hard to kind of say. I like wearing the darks at home.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
He never makes the save.
Any significant, teammate that stands out, or is it all kind of like, for you, is it hard to separate because you view your whole career as playing with all these guys?
Yeah. Well, as you get older, it's harder to separate. Everything does kind of blend together. It's hard to pick one generation from the other sometimes. But no, it's a great group of guys.
Yeah.
No matter what. Every year I tried to, enjoy who we had here, and it was good.
Okay, well, this might elicit an interesting comment or two, although it does say excellence inside the collar, which is nice. How would you describe this? Probably the last jersey that was introduced to you in your career here in Buffalo.
Bold choice. Probably not in my top, but
Not in your top 10?
Yeah, but again, like they're going for it, right?
Right.
And you got to kind of take it for the time period, maybe the style that was going on then. But again, I like that they wanted to stick to it.
The logo pops. Would you have simply preferred it to be entirely gold?
I don't know.
Well, I guess when you view Nashville's jerseys, is it too much, or is it,
Yeah, I can see what they're going for. Yeah, it would have been fun to maybe mix and match, get some gold pads going.
If you had to walk away with just one Sabres jersey from everything we have talked about, what would you leave wearing?
I mean, probably the black one.
Yeah.
Just because it was an exciting moment for me. It was almost like, okay, we made it, and we're building for something, and then we had a great season, and it's a transition time for a lot of the boys in my kind of generation. So it represents a lot.
So you're excited to see it back?
Yeah, I was. The second they announced that it would be even a possibility, I was excited.